Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 6. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Aharon coming back at you with another lesson, Lowell and to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and I have an article here I want to go into real quick. Okay, and the article is titled 11 Signs America's Economy is in its worst shape since the Great Recession. Okay, and before I go into it, I was actually watching a video yesterday, a couple of videos yesterday, from these YouTube channels that go into current events about, the lifestyle that Babylonians are living right now. And pretty much everybody is saying the same thing, right? America is done, all right? It's not, you don't even got to hear it from the prophets no more, because you got people who are even in the world who are experiencing it. And a lot of us, okay, we of course, we warned of these things coming to pass, but a lot of us nowadays, it's actually happening to people that we know directly. Okay, we've been saying this, like we've been sharing these sentiments, all right, for quite some time now. But now it's quite evident. You have a lot of people that, of course, you got layoffs. It's been happening since the beginning of this year and even prior. Okay, but drastically this year, right? From both blue collar jobs, white collar jobs, and everything in between. If you find yourself in the so-called middle class, or found yourself in the so-called middle class, you're kind of shaky right now. Okay, forget about if you're in the lower, all right, tier of society. Okay, because remember, the prophecy states in Revelation 13 that he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. In other words, everyone in any type of social class, whether you're in the upper echelon, all right, or in the lower, part of society, okay, rich or poor, all right, this prophecy pertains to you. Why? Because it's a systemic overhaul. Okay, once the system changes over, anyone who's not part of that system, you're going to be left out. And that's the whole design of how the MOTB works. That's how they're going to get people to be able to to get them to have to pledge that allegiance to take or receive that MOTB. And then you got groups like IUIC, ISUPK and them who teach that the MOTB is not the RFID CHIP. Okay, and then IUIC, their argument is so flawed, it's quite irritating just hearing it nowadays, right? We're in 2025. You got people who are not even in the truth, who put two and two together and say, hey, when the CHIP come out, I'm not taking it because that's the MOTB. They say that. They say it like because it's a known thing. That's the only thing that makes sense. People with a brain, regular people, all right, with a brain who see the things that's going on can put two and two together and say, yo, when the CHIP comes out, the government is going to require everyone to take that chip. I'm not doing that because that's the MOTB. They say that verbatim. People actually say these things. And then you got a group like IUIC that goes around touting that they're actually men of the Lord and teach from the Bible, and they're trying to wake up their people, 12 tribes worldwide, all this madness. And yet they sit around and they have leaders that actually sit and have classes. They actually do this. If you have the patience to actually watch it and stomach the folly, but you can go watch it. And they say it and tell you and make mockery of what it is, like we're the fools. You got Boo Boo the fool telling us that we're the fool and saying like, oh, the MOTB is not no damn microchip. Ain't not no microchip. It's sin in all its various forms, both political and religious. If you take the if you take the mark in your hand, it's you doing sin, and if you take it in your forehead, it's you thinking sin. Well, what about the part where the scripture says those that received it? The receiving part. It's not about doing. It's not saying anything about doing anything. It says those that received it. All right. You had to go receive something. That means it's a device that you're going to receive. It's something that you have to go take. How do you do sin and think sin if you're receiving something? I don't understand that. Okay, and then number two, where in all these technological advancements have they ever mentioned anything to do with sin? Then that's not even part of their radar. That's not even part of their framework of the beast system. They don't care about if you're sinning or not. It has not. It goes beyond so-called religion. Okay, Buddhists or atheists or them people don't believe in sin per se, like how the Christians would believe it. Okay, so that concept of sin is only more of a Christian ideology. Okay, the so-called Christian, it's from the Bible. The sin concept is from the Bible, and it's a simple concept of if you break the law, you've sinned. That's just simple as it is. In today's world, we call it committing a crime, right? Or if you break the law, you've committed a crime. Same thing with the scriptures. The word crime is synonymous with sin. If you break any of the laws in the scriptures, you've sinned. It's simple as that. Okay, as is written in the book of I believe First John or Second John, where it says, sin is the breaking of the commandment. Let's even get that real quick. All right, these people, man. See if we can get that real quick. I think it's laws, right? Sin. There you go. There's a book of First John. Yep. So what's First John? All right. First John chapter 3 and verse 4 says, "Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law." When you transgress, that means you break. Okay, you break something. You go above and beyond what is allowed. Okay, so it says here, what? "Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law." Simple. What is sin? Is the transgression of the law. So when somebody says you're going to receive a mark, but the mark is symbolic for sin, or the mark is sin, and if you have it in your hand, it's you doing sin, and if you have it in your forehead, it's you thinking sin. But yet the scripture says those that receive the mark. How does that concept work? See, their followers don't ask these questions. They just say, yeah. That's it. They don't ask these questions, man. And those days are fast approaching. We're living in the days that leads to the MOTB. And we have proof. Okay, we have proof. We're going to get into that right now. But before we do, as I'm painting the picture, Americans right now, you got people who are complaining, people who are broke. Everyone is broke. There used to be a time where you might be broke, but your next person, they still got something going on where they could spot you for a little bit and until you get back to your feet. But it looks like everyone across the spectrum is broke. You call this person, they broke. They call you broke. You call them, they broke. Okay, nobody. It's hard. It's hard times out here. Let's just say that. All right, you got people, having to find different means to make money. I'm talking about like means that they normally wouldn't make. Right? You got different. Hey. It's over with. All right, it's over with. And we've been warning of these days to come. We are indeed in the time of Jacob's trouble, man. Okay, and a lot of people are about to be homeless. They saying that this whole government shutdown has affected a lot of people here, especially in New York, who rely on certain government assistance programs. All right, that includes, to a degree, it includes heating their homes. They said because of the shutdown, the heating is not working. So you got people in the cold weather. I did a job yesterday. I went to this house. The lady gets at the door. She tells me right away. She's like, "Oh, by the way, we haven't had heat in the house for 2 days." It's been cold the past 2 days. What you mean by that? You haven't had heat? And they all bundled up, her and her mother. I'm like, where the man at? Well, you ain't got no man in this house? I'm like, you got pretty cars, you got a nice big ass house, and you got 2 women in there. You ain't got no man. And they're just moving in. They got boxes everywhere. You got TV, this, that, everything is everywhere. But they ain't got no heat. And she said, "Oh, you might want to go take your jacket. I had a sweater, a hoodie, and everything." She's like, "You might want to go put on a jacket because if you're gonna be working in here, it's freezing in here." I said, "No, don't worry about it. I'll be all right. You need to worry about you, okay? Because I'm only here for a max of 35 to 40 minutes. You live here, so you need to worry about that, right?" And they bundled up. They got a hoodie, sweater, jacket, everything all together, covered up from head to toe, looking all crazy like an Eskimo in her own house because they ain't got no heat. And they on the phone calling HVAC, companies and shit, asking them, yo, how much is it going to be to come in here and check, just to give me a quote before we can even start working. And I was there when she was calling people. She was like, oh, I'm sorry, don't mind me. I'm just trying to get this heat back on. I said, no, you do your thing. See, I'm here to do my job and leave. You do your thing. Don't worry about you, And, she's calling. I could hear it on the phone. She's calling them and, most of them are like, oh, we can't make it out there today. The earliest we could make it out there is probably next week. I said, damn, HVAC? Like, are you serious right now? Like, ain't nobody out there to work? Nobody looking for work to come and fix this shit? If I was an HVAC tech, I would have told her straight out, listen, hey, shit, I do HVAC too. So, here, take my card. And, I might probably pop back in here today or tomorrow. Shit, let me finish work and then see what I can do. Pop right back in here. Not too far from where I live, and give her a quote right then and there. Like, yo, I'm going to charge you this, and that. I'll check it out for you. I'll take care of it. And this is how it's going to be. Boom. You see? But even that, when you have, when you have an issue like this where people who are in need are looking for help, but yet they can't find no help because there is no help, what you do then? And that's the sentiment for everyone. It's like everyone has their own problems, but the normal help that will be the resolution to that problem, all right, is nowhere to be found. It doesn't matter what kind of issue you have. If you're going through a job issue, you can't get out of it for some reason. If you're going through financial issues, you can't get out of it for some reason. There's no help coming from anywhere. All right. If you're going through some car issues, it's hard to get. People are suffering, man, managing. And especially around this time of the year, almost every car gets issues, man. When the weather starts getting cold, all of a sudden your car starts acting up. You see? And a lot of people can't afford to go fix their shit. They can't afford to get their shit towed. All right. They can't afford to make their payments. So that's another problem. That's another headache right there. So there's a lot going on. All right. And this is the end. You got people leaving America. You got people telling people, leave America, go. Because there was a time where America was the golden city. People used to come here to make a living. Now people are leaving because you can't make a living here. People do videos on that all the time. Oh, I used to live here in New York, or I used to live here in wherever state. And this is what they were doing to me. I was paying this amount of money. Now look, I live in Philippines and I pay only like $200 a month. And my life has changed. I got food. I got a life. I got a roof. I got a house. I'm living. I got everything. Oh, I went to Albania. I live in Albania now. I've been here for the past 6 months and it's nothing like America. America wants you to do this and the governments are telling you to do this and do that. And so the people are seeing these things, man. They waking up, they putting 2 and 2 together and they saying, yo, I need to flee up out of here. I need to get out of here. If I want to make it out alive, I need to get off the Titanic before it goes down and under. Okay. So it says here, 11 signs America's economy is in its worst shape since the Great Recession. All right. It says, do you remember how bad things were in 2008 and 2009? It was an economic nightmare that shook the entire world, and now it appears that the sequel is upon us. As we'll see below, many economic numbers are either as bad as they have been since the Great Recession, or they are even worse than they were during the Great Recession. Despite what the mainstream media has been telling you, the truth is that the cold, hard facts prove that the U.S. economy has been rapidly heading in the wrong direction for years. Now we have reached a major tipping point, and it won't take much to push us over the edge. If you doubt what is being said, just keep reading. The following are 11 signs that the U.S. economy is in the worst shape that it has been since the Great Recession. Okay? Number 1, U.S. consumer sentiment just continues to move in the wrong direction. In fact, U.S. consumer sentiment just fell to the second lowest reading ever, right? You got mad people worried, about of course, you got the whole government shutdown. Okay. You got layoffs, which is a problem with job security, right? And it's not just federal jobs, it's private jobs as well. Like I said, blue collar, white collar jobs, everyone in the same spectrum. And some people who still have jobs, you're seeing the rapid acceleration and changing of, how things used to be to how things are going to be in terms of digital means of working and digital means of living. Okay, these things are all happening in lockstep, and it's happening rapidly. Okay, so you got people who are working, making what, 70, 80,000 dollars a year, but their means of living, their cost of living, I should say, is over $100,000 a year. So you just can't make ends meet. All right, you're being required to live a life where it's impossible to live. All right, and it's gonna, again, people are gonna lose it eventually. All right, people are gonna lose it. Inflation, right? All these different things going on all at the same time. People are going to lose it. Housing costs. Okay, people can't afford homes. People can't afford to buy homes. People who have homes can't afford to keep it. The government's doing all kinds of these different numbers, left and right, interest rates, all kinds of different shit going on. Okay, maintaining them houses and homes. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. And if you have children on top of that, it's even worse. Okay, because remember, quite frankly, everyone is being brought down to the same level. And we've been saying this for months, years, forget months, years, that America is going to become a third world country. You didn't have to go to a third world country to live it. It's here. It's here now. Okay, you're experiencing it. All right. Number 2 says, for years, U.S. consumers have been foolishly piling up enormous amounts of debt. Okay, now the average U.S. credit score is falling at the fastest pace that we have seen since the Great Recession, and that's all done by design. Over the past 15, 20 years, they've been pushing this idea of credit. Oh, get your credit score, or do this, get a credit card, use it and do it. Yo, people start to rely on credit cards. Now they're in credit card debt. Okay, multiple credit cards. They can't pay it off. The interests are crazy. You see? And that's a fraudulent thing. If American people really understood how that whole concept works, which is all fraud, yo, you have a case. But they don't understand that. Right? You sign up to an agreement that had no equal value. Okay, you got effed all the way through by dealing with America's money, by dealing with the concept of credit. It's all robbery. Right? How do you think about this? How do you go in there to say, okay, I'm going to agree to this where this is a house and I'm paying, the house is worth $300,000. By the time I'm done paying for it with both interest and everything else that's in it, we're looking at about $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. Why would you agree to some shit like that? And you know, this only happens to people who are broke or who are in the lower class, so to speak. The higher class people who got money, they just buy the shit outright. They don't got to go through these, interest rates are going to be there. They just, it's $300,000. I got money. Boom, here you go. Bam, buy it outright. Now I'm only paying property tax and so on and so forth. Forget about the banks. Just take them out the picture completely. Just buy it outright. Boom, that's it. But those who can afford it just like that, they're the ones who get effed the most, because now you got to do this down payment shit. Okay? And then you got this crazy ass interest. 6%, 7% interest rate. Okay? And then you pay a mortgage, a death pledge. You just keep paying that shit, Damn. It never stops. It never ends. You got health insurance premiums going up. That's also another problem. They psych you into thinking you need these things. You got motherfuckers paying for health insurance and you never get sick a day in their life. But it's the mindset of, well, if something was to happen and they live in this fear, America is fucked, man. This place is hell. Literally hell, bro. All right? Every corner you turn. Okay? So yeah, people's FICO scores, you know what I'm saying? You go from, I think it was 600, you got 700, I think, 700 credit score, or 750, 780, some shit. I don't really follow, I don't do all that credit stuff. I try to stay away from all that. If I want to get something, I just go out, find a way to work, and buy it outright. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. Move on. Just do the old school way of doing things. This whole new way of doing shit, debt-based system is very irritating, man, because they don't leave you alone. All right, I've done it before. I had a credit card before. My mom was like, back years ago, she was like, oh, just get one and build your credit. That's what she said. I said, nah, I don't, I'm good, man. I don't believe in that. What do you mean build your credit? She was like, oh, one day if you want to buy a home, and this was before we came to the truth. I said, I don't think I'm going to be living here long enough to try to buy a home. Who wants to live here? Who wants to have this concept of, go to school, get a job and work? Who the fuck wants to do that? That's not a dream. Nobody dreams about going to school to get a job and work. You trying to live, you're not trying to fucking work every day to live. Who wants to do that? But that's how they grew up. So that was the mindset. Like, oh, you go to school, you get a good job so you can live your life, right? But you have all these debts, student loan debt, this debt, that debt, that. It's like a mad shit, bro. So you're forced to work, but you're not really working to enjoy your life. You're working to pay off these bills and debt and all this dumb shit. Look, man, I was not interested in any of that shit. So it took me a long time. So it got to a point where she's like, look, I'll do it. And then I'll just put your name on it. And then you can just use it. And then I'll just pay for it. And I was like, you don't need to do all that. She said, look, it's just to build your credit. So I went and she got me a credit card, went through the whole process and everything. She got me a credit card and she was like, yo, even if you're going to spend it like $50, right? You can afford $50. $50. And then you just pay it off at the end of the month or before the end of the month or whatever, right? It's going to build up your credit. You see, it don't got to be $300. It don't got to be $1,000, just $50. And then you just pay it off. And then you use it again. And then you just pay it off. That's how you're going to build up your credit. I said, why would I do that if I could just buy the shit for $50? Why I got to use a credit? It's just, I was thinking more like just a regular, simple man. She was thinking more of how to be in the system type shit. This is how it works. And it's a trap. And I saw it like a trap. I'm like, this is a trap. I don't want to be in debt. Like, what if I can't pay that 50? Then what? Like, oh, you're going to pay it. It's not a problem. But I'm like, yo, listen, see? And then the funny thing is when you pay it off completely, it affects your credit score because you got to have some form of debt that you're always paying off. That's how you build your credit. I said, man, F this system. I'm not interested in this. F that. So I used it for a few years and then I paid it off and I was done. I said, yo, I'm done with this. I'm not using that shit no more. They'll be calling you, oh, you gotta approve for a higher credit line, credit score, credit line shit, whatever. No, listen, I just leave them shits, but it just lays there. I'm not interested. It just lays there. You get one company send you, Capital One will send you one. Then next thing you know, Chase Bank will send you another one. And you can get approved to buy a new car and all that. Stop. But those who fell for it, these Babylonians that fell for it and lived lavishly with this shit, you were living pleasure in debt. I don't know how you do that, but people did it. And now it's coming back to bite them in the ass. Okay? It says number 3, the employment market has really tightened up all over the nation. If you are looking for a temporary job this holiday season, it's being projected that holiday hiring will be at the lowest level that we have seen since the Great Recession. Okay? Holiday hiring by retailers is expected to total between 265,000 and 365,000 roles this year, the lowest number of seasonal workers in at least 15 years, the National Retail Federation said Thursday. It says NFR, which is National Retail Federation, CEO Matthew Shea said on the Retail Trade Group's conference call on that those hiring expectations reflect the softening and slowing labor market. Okay, it's a significant drop from a year ago when retailers hired 442,000 seasonal workers, the Retail Trade Group said. Okay, so yeah, jobs, are hard to come by. Like I said, you got certain types of jobs where they cut hours. If you're at 40 hours, I think it was the beginning of the year, Trump had came out with some shit where they said companies have to break everything down to at least, at most 32 hours. Okay, nobody should be getting 40 hours or more, and the excuse was, we need to give people more time to go spend with their families. We don't want you working so much no more. 40 hours is too much. We're going to require all these companies to cut everyone's hours to at least 30, or at most 32 hours so that you can have more time to go spend with your loved ones at home. Nigga, you crazy? You got people who work 80 hours and they still can't make ends meet. People don't work because, they try to, they can't spend time with their families. They work because they have to do that in order to keep their families intact. If you ain't got no food, you ain't got no shelter, nigga, you ain't got no family. All right? You gotta be you gotta be in position to provide for your family. And that comes through working. You need those 40 hours. You need something. You need overtime. Especially with this economy, you talk about 32 hours. Bro, 40 hours was not enough. Now you cutting my shit hours. You cut my hours. Now I can't pay my bills. Now what? See? So that brings another stressful situation. It's not like they said, okay, well, life is back to normal. Everything is good. Everyone's making good money. So 32 hours is good. You good. Nah. 32 hours, your hours are cut, but your expenses are higher now. inflation, all these different things. It's like, yo, bro, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Everything that America has always stood for, people just didn't see it. But now you're seeing it. The Lord is taking that veil off, and now you're seeing America for what she really is. All right. So number 4 says, as hiring has gotten tighter, layoffs are way up. In fact, we just witnessed the most layoffs in a single month during the fourth quarter since 2008. All right. Shit. In over 20 years, mad people being laid off. Mad people. All right. Which is another sign of what? A global economic turmoil. Okay. When there's no jobs, that's a problem. You know, when you ain't working, you ain't making no money. That's a problem. All right. Especially nowadays, if you don't work, you don't get paid. That's a fucking problem. Okay. It says number 5, the American people are not stupid. No. You'll be surprised, bro. Yeah, you'll be surprised. But let's keep it as it is. It says they can see what is going on, and they are now the most pessimistic about finding a job that they have been than they have been since at least 2013. Okay, you got people who are applying. They get a call saying, "Oh, you applied, but right now, we found the people we're looking for." They'll post the jobs. You apply for the job, they call you back. You think you get an interview, and then you get ghosted. You see, you get ghosted. Nobody hits you up. Nobody calls you. Nobody reaches out. Right? And I understand. I was in that position before, where you be the one calling people because you're hiring. You have a need, and then quickly the need is filled because mad people are flocking to that job, and you're going through this process of sifting with the amount of applications that you're getting for just one simple job. It takes you days to sift through these applications. And even if you found the person you're looking for, you still got to go through different options. You never know. And that takes time. The vetting process of hiring takes time. And then when you finish with that, you have one position, you get 100 applicants. Who do you go with? Right? So then you got to go based on that. And then you got to call all these different people and let them know, you're no longer looking for somebody to fill that position. Has been filled. They should keep applying for different positions. In the future, if something opens, the whole spiel, you got to give them all that. See? But again, that's just the reality. Okay? That's just the reality. And so a lot of companies, especially now, all these people who have been, I call it COVID-demized. They got the sea ragamuffin shots. They're not thinking straight no more. You notice a lot of the people having a lot like mental decline is at an all-time high. People are not functioning like they used to anymore. Little shit, people dropping the ball left and right. You doing a job, business, whatever, professional things that you're supposed to be doing that you expect professionals to be handling, and people are dropping the ball left and right. You wonder what is wrong with people nowadays? People have become unreliable. It's always some bullshit you got to deal with, especially at the workplace. When you're working with people, it's like, what happened to people's mental capacity? It's like it just evaporated. The way people drive, the way people function. It's like, what happened? Like, what's wrong with you people nowadays, man? You see, people are not thinking anymore. Number 6, it says total household debt just hit another brand new high record. Okay? Which is not even during the Great Recession were we facing a crisis of this magnitude. Total household debt climbed to a record $18.6 trillion last quarter. Damn. And while most borrowers remain on track with payments, young Americans are feeling the pressure. Okay? And you know what? You know what the scripture says about borrowing, right? Right? Let's see. There's the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 7. It says, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Okay? You're a slave to those who lend you things. That's why everything is about, was it buy now, pay later kind of scheme? I'm gonna lend this over to you so you can use it for now, but you're gonna have to pay me, interest and shit like that, taxes and so on and so forth. You see, I make sure that you're subject unto me until it's paid off. And even when it's paid off here in America, even when it's paid off and you own it, you really don't own it. Okay, you don't own the piece of land that you have the property on. All right, you're just paying for it at a time. You're leasing it. All right, there's no ownership. There's only land leasing. You notice people don't really own land. All right, you can lease it for 99 years or whatever, and that's it. You can't really own it. See, so yeah, it's just a fraudulent scheme. All right, and a lot of people are waking up to it, but it's too late. Like I said, it's too late, man. You just waking up to the fact that the water, all right, you're in the Titanic, the water's got into your little room, and you're starting to see it increase or rise, and you're like, wait, where's this water coming from? There's a lot of people like, oh, where the fuck is the water coming from? And they open their door, look in the hallway, and it's like, oh shit, damn, this water is like OD, like it's over there, like it's climbing up right now. Like, oh shit, I need to get out of here. You see? So you just waking up, tapping people, oh, wake up, there's water in here. Like, how, I think the ship is sinking. You're in the Atlantic Ocean and the ship is sinking and there's water coming in and we're just finding out about it. We need to get up and do something about this. And guess what? You all rushing. Everybody's rushing towards the side where the water's not at. See? And you got some people, you look back, you see some people drowning in that water because it's too late. You got some people who can't even open their doors because the water has gone so much that they can't even crack the door open. They're stuck. They're locked in there and they're drowning. And they're screaming for help because the water's reaching over their shoulder and it's coming up to their neck. And it's going to cover over their mouth and it's coming over their head. And it's like, oh, I'm drowning. They'll go right back on the, come back. Help, somebody. Once again, that's how people are right now. Okay? They have just enough energy to scream for help. And that's not enough. Damn. Number 7, it says, we've been warning Americans, all right, that they've been getting behind in debts. Now, the percentage of outstanding balances that are seriously delinquent has risen to the highest level in more than a decade. Delinquencies everywhere, man. You got people, car notes not being paid. You got health insurance not being paid. You got all kinds of different insurances that are not being paid. Car insurance, right? Student loans debt. All right. What else? Housing, crisis. It's just everything. Everywhere you go, somebody's not paying something that they're supposed to be paying because they can't afford it. Some people don't even have jobs to be able to pay for these things. So they just got to resort to, what do I pay? Do I pay my rent or do I buy food? Do I pay this bill right here or do I get food? Do I pay my light bill or do I pay for food? Which one is it? Right? You got people resorting to different types of means. Do I go give up some blood plasma so I can pay for food? What the fuck? That's the time. That's where we at right now. All right. And soon you're going to have people selling valuables, assets, might have a gold ring somewhere, maybe a gold chain that your grandmother left you. Nigga, you're going to sell that shit so you could eat. You're going to have people clothes. You have mad people that used to buy clothing. They used to flex on the internet. Guess what? Start packing the bags up and start, giving it up. You're going to have to sell that shit for whoever's going to be willing to buy clothes. Like somebody need clothes right now. They need food, not clothes. But that's all you can offer. It's not good enough, but it's something. It'll get you, maybe you have a clothes worth maybe $5,000. If you count it all together, you're going to be making like a quick $100 off of that. See? Somebody going to buy it off you for $100 so they can go give it to somebody who needs it. You see? You're going to see some shit like that. If you got a TV in your house, man, I don't even watch TV because I can't even pay my bills I can't pay for Netflix. Them subscriptions. Hey, listen, I don't even need this TV. I'm thinking about, I'm going to just sell this shit. People going to be selling their property like that. Watch. And for the women, they don't think like men. They don't know how to make money like men. So they got to stick to the mold of, I need to have a job. So if you don't have a job, or even if you have a job and it's not helping you make ends meet, they're going to resort to other means. Okay? They're going to resort to other means. You're going to have women selling up some ass to have the rent, to make rent. The fucking rent, nigga, boss is going, if it's a landlord, that landlord going to be clapping cheeks all month long. He going to be getting it in all month long. Why? Because what you going to do? Shit, it's wintertime. Where you going to go? You got to stay here. You know what I'm saying? If anywhere else you go out there, it's harder out there. This is the cheapest it's going to be over here. You see what I'm saying? Shit, you paying what, $1,500 a month for one small little bedroom apartment? Shit, you better make ends meet. Because if not, that landlord going to come see you. And he's coming to collect. All right, he's coming, you better pay up with something. You know what I'm saying? You better pay up with something. You see? You're going to have women lined up in the streets looking for men, right? They're going to be faking it like they going shopping somewhere. No, they're just trying to make themselves available for men. See, you can have women in the gyms. Because some women, they don't have places to go shower and shit. So the gym is where they shower. So they have a gym membership, get a Planet Fitness membership or whatever, right? She look good. She go in there after work, pretend like she working out just so she could go take a shower in there, finish, and then take her ass back and go live in her car for that night, or whatever, however she's living. You see? And guess what? Let her see a man like one of us, who's on point, doing our thing, whatever. You don't think they're going to be, attracted to that? Like, yo, it seems like he has his life on point. He seems very calm. Like, damn, he jacked up, he working out, he doing his thing, whatever. Let me get close to this guy. Let me see what he about. You see? But yeah, this like, yo, everywhere you go. I remember, I be in grocery stores. You have these long lines. Nowadays, man, them lines be dead. And people's carts, they don't look as much as they used to. Nowadays they got the grocery shopping carts where they got the big carts, they got the smaller carts. Yo, most of the time the big carts aisle, the pile is packed, mad carts that are big in there. And then the small carts is like a few that's being taken out. People are using the small carts now. And then nobody's using the big carts. You know what I'm saying? Most people are not using them big carts no more. They're using them small shits. Because that's all they can afford at the time. You see? People not pushing carts. I remember you go to BJ's, you got a cart, big ass cart. People pushing that shit to their car and shit, blocking the way. You get mad. Nah, not anymore. People got boxes now. They fill the shit up with boxes and they stand right there, boom, scan it, and then on their way. That's it. Enough to hold two hands. Done. That's it. Pack up your car and leave. That's what's going on. See? Number 8, it says the cost of living crisis never seems to end. Aluminum prices are now increasing at an exponential rate, and that isn't going to help matters at all, right? So that goes for everything, right? They're saying aluminum prices, climb to a record high. Remember, we said a time like never before, right? And this is all stuff that Trump said, when I come in, I'm going to do this, and tariffs is going to release this and revitalize America's economy and industrial base and all this extra shit. Fuck out of here. He lied to you. Okay. Number 9, have you noticed that restaurant chains are closing vast numbers of locations all over the nation? Wendy's is the latest major chain to announce mass closures. Wendy's now. Okay. Wendy's. Soon it's going to be Burger King. You're going to have McDonald's. What's the other one? Arby's. What's the other shit? Taco Bell. Okay. All these food restaurant chains, they're going to all be shutting down soon. All right. And when the food companies are going down and under, shit. All right. Let me read a little bit. It says fast food chain Wendy's is planning to close hundreds more stores just a year after shutting 140 locations. All right. Starbucks, McDonald's, like I said, Dunkin' Donuts, all these, people really eat these things. Shit. It's all going on down and under. Now what? Okay. They're all teaming up with the government now. So instead of having those places you can go to eat, everything's going to shift to the government. You got this guy, Mamdani, talking about he's going to make everything federalized or government owned, where, the state owned, I should say, where states are going to be owning these things, grocery stores and so on and so forth, where you just got to go pledge your allegiance to them. If it's state owned, you just need to have an ID. Okay. The way the systems are being built right now and how they're, partnered up with all these companies, everything is being digital. See, everything is digital. It's federalized. Okay. It says interim CEO Ken Cook told investors in a Friday, November 7 quarterly earnings call that the company would be closing a mid-single digit percentage of locations. With around 6,000 locations still operating nationwide, this would amount to roughly 240 to 360 stores. One investor has estimated the number at about 300 locations during the call. When we look at the system today, we have some restaurants that do not elevate the brand and are a drag from a franchisee financial performance perspective, said Cook. The goal is to address and fix those restaurants by shutting them down. Right? By shutting them down. Let's get that real quick in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. And verse 3 says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. And that's the times we're in. Okay, all these experts are estimating the same exact thing. All right, that this is the worst it's been. And guess what? The part that everybody knows, the quiet part, we're gonna say it out loud for you. It gets worse. It's going to get worse. And everybody knows it. That damn, my situation is bad, but I know it's about to get worse. Because month after month, it shows you that it gets worse. Right? Your income is less, but your spending is more. Man, listen. You're being told to make the impossible possible. That's not possible. Okay, verse 10. Number 10. It says, manufacturing numbers often tell us where the economy is heading next. So the fact that the U.S. manufacturing has fallen for 8 months in a row is certainly not a good sign. Okay? Trump says, oh, don't worry, when these data centers open, oh, this is going to bring so many jobs and blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? Number 11, the tech industry has been one of the very few bright spots for the U.S. economy in 2025. But even our largest tech companies have been conducting absolutely brutal layoffs. Yeah. They're telling people, oh, working from home, they're shutting that shit down. And that all workers are required to come back to the office. And they come back and a few weeks later, they get fired. You get that dreaded meeting on your calendar. And you know what time it is when you see that calendar call. We're going to have a call randomly out of nowhere. Monday is on your calendar. You're like, oh, shit. You get in there, you get on the call. Hey, this and that, they try to be all nice and politically correct with you, butter you up, and then they stick it right in your damn fifth rib, like, oh yeah, this and that, so based on your performance and next, you out of here. Hey, wait, but hold on, what you mean by this? How does this? It came to a conclusion, and this and that, this and that, this and that, and this is where we at. This is what we decided. Meanwhile, you one of their best workers, but they're not looking at it like that because it's a decision made by AI. AI says this person is in the red, so we got to cut them. But damn, look at the amount of work they've been doing. With the resources you're giving them, they're doing the best they can with what you're giving them. And this is how you pay them back? Yeah, these companies don't care no more. All right? They're not looking at people like, like assets anymore. It's just how do you keep the company going? If you can't make it happen and we replace you, you're out of there. The scale of layoffs is unprecedented. By October 11, over 112,000 tech employees had been let go across 218 companies. Amazon alone confirmed 14,000 job cuts. That's 14,000 different people that are out of work. That's a lot of people. Citing the need to reduce bureaucracy and reallocate resources. What? For what? For AI. For automation. For robots. Okay? The trend is, and these companies have become so greedy. This amount of money, this is the most amount of money these companies have made, probably ever. And they look at the opportunity. Hey, listen, if we can use AI to do the work that humans do, then we don't have to pay them anything. We could just use AI and not have to pay AI, and AI does better jobs than these people. We're gonna pocket all the money. Wow. But did you think about who's gonna be buying your product? Well, we don't need people to buy our product. We're gonna create a system more like a digital welfare system where people will own nothing, but they'll be happy. What a brilliant idea. Shit, so they don't have jobs, so they don't have money to be able to actually work to buy our product. But we're going to make our product in such a way that the government is going to make it mandatory where you have to have our product. And if you can't work to pay it off, then just subscribe to it. And if you can't make the subscription payment, we'll just shut off your access to this product that we're creating here. So we're going to create a need for you to have the product. And then after that, once we have you in our crutches, we're going to tell you, well, listen, you're not meeting the demands and the requirements to have this product, so we're going to take it away from you. And by doing that, we're going to control your behavior. You want to stick to this product? You want to continue using our product? Or you have to comply with our new rules and regulations. Come take the C-HIP or else. You see? So it says, the trend is driven by rapid advances in automation and artificial intelligence, there you go, which are fundamentally changing the nature of tech work. It feels like companies are prioritizing efficiency over human capital, said a recently laid off engineer, echoing the concerns of many affected workers. And that's true. Okay? It goes to show you these people don't care about you. All right? These companies they never did. They never cared about you. You just believed what they were telling you. Oh, there's a family. When you get hired, everybody treats you nice. When you're new to something, everyone treats you nice. But once they're done using you, yo, man, the way they treat you, you be like, damn, like that's how you really felt about me this whole time? Shit, you just gonna give me the boot just like that? Wow, that's crazy. They don't care about your personal life. You could tell them, I just had a baby and I need this job so I can supply for it. They don't care about that. Your personal life is your personal. They don't give a damn about that shit. Go figure it out. Go figure it out. After they made you all these promises. Oh, the company's looking like we're going to be making big changes coming this year. Oh, we're working on big things for you guys. And it's all BS. It's all BS. Lip service. All these corporations do it. They're all looking to F people over. Because they have to in order to make billions of dollars a year. And that's what they always do. They always have the profit margin. They always have this crazy ass goals that they set at the beginning of the year. And then they sit everyone down and then we have all these meetings and then they tell us, oh, this is what we made our LP, right? Last year's performance. This is what we're looking at for this year. We should be better than what we did last year. It's like, nigga, we strained at every gnat to make shit happen last year and it wasn't enough for you niggas. We still had that meeting of, oh, this year you guys are going to be able to get your bonuses because we didn't hit our numbers and all this. You know, we understand the economy is at a worst time it's ever been, but, you know, we had opportunities and, you know, you had opportunities to do this and you didn't do it. You had opportunities, so because of that, we're not going to be getting our bonuses. But we have a new incentive this year. If you're able to hit these numbers, you're going to be able to get your bonus. And they incentivize everything. And now people are working, busting their ass, working 24/7 just for some bonus that they'll never get. It's like dangling this carrot in your face. You're never going to get that shit because they're always going to come up with some reason. Right before you get that bonus, if you're in the margin to make it, they're going to come up and say, oh, yeah, it looks like your performance hasn't been up to par, you know, so we're going to let you go. You're like, wait, 2 months before I get my bonus? You going to let me go? Let me 2 months, let me finish. Then you go. Nah, sorry. It's over with. See you. See? Like cutthroat shit, man. You know? It says the ripple effects extend beyond individuals' careers, impacting families and communities as local economies absorb the shock of sudden unemployment. Okay? It says we were warned. Where am I at? I think that was 11, right? Yep, tech industry. Okay, it says we were warned that economic conditions would deteriorate, and that is precisely what has happened. But what we have been through so far is not even worth comparing to what is eventually coming. There you go. That's the key. Okay, that's the key. Because remember, the Titanic, just because you realize that it's been hit and water's coming in, eventually the end of it is when it sinks all the way under. So the worst part is the Titanic has completely sunk. And now you have to stay afloat as best as you can in this cold ass weather where there's no help in sight in the middle of the ocean. Okay, that's the image. The Titanic is the best example. Everyone should go back and watch that movie. Now would be the best time to watch it. How it started, how you got all these people who are happy, chilling, doing all this, just having a good old time, parties, drinking, dancing. Oh, and then that night where everything, that sudden destruction, it happened and everything changed. See? And our alarm bells are going off. And, you know, it's an emergency situation and everyone is trying to stay afloat. Everyone is trying to live all at the same time. You have people who are fighting, you know, punching people. Bang, bang, hey, get off of me. Hey, you sorry. Hey, boom. Yep. See? It says it was nice. It was a nice ride while it lasted. In 2009, the federal government was $10 trillion in debt. And now it is $38 trillion in debt. And I say it's way more than that. It's way more than that. 38 trillion, that's it? It's way more than that. It's probably like more 200, 300 trillion. Around there. Like that type of crazy shit. Okay? And like it tells you in the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, okay, the debt That heavy debt, let's get that real quick. Okay, it was done by who? By these elites. They created this shit. All right, they created this Federal Reserve System to keep people in the situation that they're in. Okay, there's a book of Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Right, he's always trying to invest everywhere else. Why? Because remember, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So they truly believe that they have the power over the earth, which they do, but they actually act on that. Right, their blessing is going to be the fatness of the earth. All the resources on the earth, they really believe that the wealth of the earth is something that they believe they have to have. You got this one Jay, he said, oh, I have to steal your house because if I don't do it, somebody else will. Like, nigga, what? What kind of logic is that? I have to come steal your shit because if I don't, somebody else will. Nigga, what the fuck? You see, you own nothing and you be happy. If I let you own something, eventually somebody's going to come and tell you can't own it. So I might as well just do it for you right now. Like, nigga. So neither keepeth at home who enlargeth his desire as hell. Right? He's never satisfied. This devil done had everything, all the power in the world. He said, no, it's not enough. I need more. It's as death, right? It's as death. All he does is kill, destroy. Okay? He's never satisfied, man. And cannot be satisfied. Cannot be satisfied. You have gold reserves. You got oil reserves here in America. He said, no, we're going to go to Venezuela. They got oil over there. We're going to go tap into that. It's not my fault that my oil is under their land. Let's make war. You know? Oh, African countries got gold. They just discovered what? Huh? How many? What? How much? $50 billion worth of gold? Oh. Get the media ready. Let's propagandize this shit. You know? Oh, look at this country. Their leader has become a tyrant. Look what he's doing to their people. We need to come in there and liberate them. We need to go in there now. What? Get the army, get the military ready. They got how much money? Huh? What's it? $13 trillion in gold? Oh, their leader is not. We need to go in there and liberate. Liberate immediately. I say liberate. See? And then everybody, oh, we don't want to go to this country to go make war. We got to protect their people. Well, you see, but they never asked America for help. We don't need to be asked for help. We need to go in there and give the help regardless if they're asking for it or not. We are America. This is what we do. We are the ones that bring the peace by war. You see, we're going to make war so we can bring peace. Remember that. It's all about peace and safety now. We got to keep the people in whatever country it is safe. Yeah, they got resources. We got to go make sure that their people are safe. They don't want to make deals with us. We got to go eliminate their president. Look at Syria. They took out Assad and they put a freaking terrorist in there that they were looking for, was it 10 years ago or so? Right? They put a bounty on this nigga's head. Now he's at the White House shooting basketball with people at the White House and giving hugs to Trump and sitting down at a dinner table and talking about plans for Syria. This is what we're dealing with now. I thought America doesn't negotiate with terrorists. Oh, no. If the terrorist, only a terrorist if the person is going against their narratives and agenda. That's when they're a terrorist. But no, not if they're working together. No, they're not a terrorist then. Right? They're not a terrorist then. The president of Syria right now. Look it up. Same nigga. He ain't even do no facial changes. He ain't even shave off his beard. No. He's the same looking nigga. He just put on the suit now. That's the only difference. He went from wearing a hijab and all that to just wearing a suit. And that's the difference. He went from holding a rifle and an AK and screaming Allah Akbar, whatever they be saying, to now just wearing a suit. That's it. And Americans are sitting there like, yo, we okay with this shit? Oh man. Going back to Habakkuk 2 and verse 5, it says he cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. And how does he do it? Through fraudulent schemes like the banking system. Okay? When you gather people unto yourself, you got Mayor Amstel Bauer saying shit like, give me a control of the nation's money and I care not who makes the laws. That's how you gather people unto yourselves. You make laws, all right, in lockstep with the control of money. You designed the way a country works based on how the monetary or how the currency flows, how the monetary system works. You determine that. Okay? You determine all that shit. And the banks today determine how people live today. They determine how the governments live today. Because the governments are enslaved to these private owned banks. Okay? And they're about to switch everything digital. Everything Trump is doing because he was appointed by these bankers. In case you didn't know that. All presidents here in America were appointed by the bankers. In case you didn't know that. And around the world, not just here in America. Okay? So continue Habakkuk 2 verse 6 says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? All right, through debt. All right, riches gotten by deceit. Okay, how woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? You're stealing. All right, you're using clever means, schemes to trap countries, to trap people, in order to keep them in debt, perpetual slavery unto you devils. All right. This is how long, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. All this extortion, wicked as inextinguishable debt that you've put countries under, nations under. All right. But now we're at the point where the Lord he's turning the tide, man. Okay, he's turning the tide. A lot of you devils, you corporations, you big bankers, you're about to enter into a state of stress. A lot of things are not going to go your way very soon. Okay? The Lord is about to put a monkey wrench in your plans. A lot of things you're going to start doing is not going to be working. Soon you're going to be hearing it. Oh, this tech company spent billions of dollars and that startup has failed. Or this AI data center that they're trying to build has failed. Or this has caught on fire. Something. The Lord is going to mess you devils up continuously. Because we pray for your downfall, you devils. We pray for your downfall, man. Your system, your new world order will not work. We've been telling you that. Okay? We've been telling you that. Because it's not based on biblical principles. It's not based on truth. It's based on fraud and deceit. Okay? And the end result of that is death. As is written, let me get that real quick. Let's get that real quick. There you go. There's a book of James chapter 5 verse 5 says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and have been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. And then verse 7, this is the key for us. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain. Okay? So we're establishing our hearts because we know what's coming. These devils have been living in pleasure and luxury for all these years. All right? Fattening themselves. And now the Lord is about to get ready for the kill. This is the reaping. All right? He's going to thrust in his sickle and reap. Okay? Yahushua is the true great reaper, man. What's it called? The grim reaper is what they call him. But Yahushua is the great reaper. Not the grim reaper. The great reaper. Okay? And he's going to thrust in that sickle and reap. Okay? And destroy this whole entire system, man. Fuck out of here. This shit is not going to stand forever. Your house of cards is done. All right, let's get that in the book of Job. Okay? Oh, it says Job, not Esther. Let me see. All right? Let's get that in Job chapter 5, verse 12. It says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Okay, your newer order enterprise will fail. We're telling you that. AI will fail. Get ready for the Lord to put monkey wrenches in your plans. Okay, that's why Revelation 12 and 12 is written. You're going to come down with great wrath because you know it, you have but a short time. Everything you're trying to do right now is going to be sped up. And when you speed things up, what happens? You have a higher chance of doing what? Get into an accident. All right, causing harm to yourself and those around you because you're moving way too fast. You neglect to see the signs. Like sometimes you driving so fast, you think, you know what? Let me just push it a little bit more. I'm going to make it. It's just a little bit more time. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. And right before you get there, some shit happens. You be like, fuck. I knew it was going to happen, but I was hoping it wouldn't happen. Well, your hope and dreams are all coming crashing down. All right? Because everybody knows what's coming, but they're hoping it wouldn't happen that way. But too bad. All right? The faster you drive into it, the closer you get to it. Right? So he disappointed the devices of the crafty, right? So that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Okay? He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, right? All these so-called elites. You have your own thoughts, your plans, your ideas, and all that. You try to circumvent the power of the Lord, you dumbass bitch. You know what's coming? He's about to punch your shit right out, man. He's gonna punch your shit right the fuck out, man. Okay? It says what? He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. Okay? Your plans will be thwarted, your schemes, your agendas, it will fail miserably. It'll fall flat on its face. In the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right? That's why the Lord says, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. So your top crafty trait is deception. But with that, at its highest peak with AI and all that, you're still not going to be able to get the elect. All right? So that means game over. The victory is ours. Okay? So yeah, I just want to bring this out real quick. Damn, I didn't realize I've been over an hour. But Lord willing, it was edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, we're in these times, man. We're definitely in those times, and it's only going to get worse, as the article said. Okay? We haven't gotten to a point where things really get violent. But through the Spirit, we've been saying 2026 could be that year where you're going to see violence, not just between people, but governments and their people. Okay, that civil war between people and their government, you're going to see it. People think of civil war, and no. It's like more of a rebellion, revolution, civil war, everything all at once. Wars and rumors of wars. Okay? Egyptian against Egyptian. One man stand up to fight against another with swords in their hands. This is the times that we're about to enter into. For what? For lack of bread and for great tribulation. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. Lord willing, you edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Until next time. Shalom.
History is truly at a turning point. We do not yet know the full extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen. However, we do know that global energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected.